Hey guys, and welcome to the SellerLogic video. My name is Daniel. I work for the marketing team over here at SellerLogic, and what we do here is basically we build software for Amazon sellers. We specialize on repricing, on business analytics, and on reimbursement claims. But these will not be the topics that we'll be talking about today. Today, we'll be focusing on a more holistic approach. And for that, we have an expert here with us. His name is Andrew Willis from Global E-Commerce Experts. And how's it going?
Hi Daniel, yeah, good, thank you. Great to be here. Thanks for inviting me on to the show. Really appreciate it, and yeah, looking forward to kind of talking about all the exciting world of the Amazon Health Check and new marketplaces.
Absolutely. So yeah, as you said, what we'll be focusing today is the Amazon Health Check, and also what I find really interesting, actually, an omni-channel approach. Especially, I don't know how it is with you guys in the UK, but we are in Germany quite affected by inflation at the moment, and of course, the topics that we think about is like, of course, how can you cut costs in your business, but also how can you increase revenue? And I think, yeah, an omni-channel approach is definitely a valid option in that case. But first of all, maybe can you tell us a little bit about more about Global E-Commerce Experts, what you guys do, and what you also do, and then we'll go from there.
Global E-Commerce Experts is a business that's evolved over the years. We kind of started about 5 years ago, and we've essentially just kept on adding services until we've got to today, which and today what we're offering is a complete kind of end-to-end solution for sellers looking to expand into new regions, particularly UK and Europe. So as a general rule of thumb, a seller that was based, let's say, in the US, that wanted to sell in Germany would have to go through all kinds of different agencies for different services in order to be able to make that happen. So you need to find a 3PL provider. You need to find somebody that could do the compliance for your products. You need to find somebody that can get your VAT numbers, etc., etc. And we offer a complete one-stop shop solution for all of those services.
Okay, perfectly. Okay, so yeah, as you were saying, it's a one-stop shop destination for any e-commerce seller, and you guys are located in the UK, right? But you focus on sellers who want to expand all over Europe, if I got that correctly, yeah.
Yeah, correct. So our main HQ is based in Southampton, down in the south of the UK, but we do have another warehouse and 3PL facility in the Netherlands as well. So that basically enables us to replicate what we're doing in the UK all across Europe. The reason that we chose the Netherlands for our European hub is because of the ease of point of entry. Basically, it's a lot more straightforward to get product into the Netherlands, and then once you're through the border and into Netherlands, you can then distribute your products all over Europe without any problems whatsoever. So it's a really simple, straightforward solution. Obviously, we also have a shipping business, so the transition from getting stock from the UK into Europe is really straightforward. We can do all that ourselves as well. Yeah, we've successfully expanded over 2,000 clients. We get lots of referrals from the big marketplaces. Amazon US refer a lot of clients to us that they want to expand into new territories. But we're also working with some of the other bigger marketplaces as well, who are doing exactly the same thing, which is really exciting. And yeah, we're just excited to be able to assist brands, expanding their business and seeing their business grow in other regions. It's something that we take an awful lot of pride over, something that we've been building for the last 5 years, and we're in a really strong position to support those brands now.
Right. If I can maybe shimmy a question, and our clients are mainly from Germany, and you said that you have a lot of experience, that you use the Netherlands as your main hub, and also that you have a lot of experience with US sellers. Would you say yeah, maybe the omni-channel approach or maybe an expansion would also make sense for German sellers as much as it does for US sellers, for example?
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, if you're based in Germany, obviously it's really straightforward to sell into other regions in mainland Europe. It becomes a little bit trickier in the UK. but that's what we're kind of designed to do. We'll help you solve all those tricky parts to being able to sell in the UK. It's exactly the same process, or at the very least, very similar process to an American seller wanting to sell in the UK. It would be the same as a German seller wanting to sell in the UK as well.
Right. Okay.
And again, we can assist from for all the services required to make that happen.
All right. Cool.
So so this is what we call our expansion pathway. This is kind of the blueprint of the business. We see this a lot, but it's really important. It essentially just kind of gives you all of the products and services that are required in order for your expansion to be successful. All right. So we're not just in the business of getting you compliant and 3PL ready to ship your products into clients. We want that expansion to be successful. So we support with account health checks, we support with account management, we can support with all of the other things that we can in order for your business to grow in your given region. We've recently created a growth team, which is the team that I kind of head up, and within that we've got growth managers that their role is specifically to support our clients to reach 80% of their US sales across Europe.
Wow. Okay.
They're strategically driven to make that happen. This note is not charged to the client, but this is the pad that they use in order to kind of make that happen. All of the things that you see on the expansion pathway are things that will help expansion.
Wow.
And so this is the kind of blueprint that we work to day by day.
Okay. Very interesting. So this is go ahead.
I was just going to say, the way that we work is not necessarily all of these tiles need to be kind of ticked off, but if you were to kind of go through and tick off every single one, then it's your success, your expansion is going to be successful.
Right.
There are bits that can be kind of skipped and missed, but this is our kind of the kind of blueprint that we work to make sure that we are ticking as many of these tiles as we possibly can.
Wow.
In order to make it successful.
Right. Okay. And basically this is if one of our clients would be affiliated with you, you are knowledgeable in all these different tiles are you are an expert in, right? So if, let's say one of our clients would be already have a lot of knowledge in VAT and or would already have perfect storage space, but would not be so good on promotion, or would have I don't know, would his website wouldn't, or her website would not be on point. You guys could be able to identify that and say, listen, in the whole suite of things that you need to be successful, if you want to expand successfully, these and these and these are the ties that are missing, and this is how we can work on that.
100%.
Cool.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool.
So basically we offer a completely a la carte service.
Nice.
So you don't have to come to us and take all of the services if you say, as you say, if you're already an expert in VAT and you just need 3PL, then absolutely that's what what we can provide for you.
Nice.
The role of the growth team is to to kind of help you to navigate that expansion even further. So we'd get you into the 3PL, we'd help you to get selling, but then we'd go that step further by going through these kind of going through the pathway together to make sure that we're giving you or opening up enough doors to make sure that you've got all of the options that you need to make your expansion really successful, and basically for you to sell as many products as you possibly can.
Okay, right. Okay, then let us move on to the next slide. Okay, so if I see correctly, this is a video that you've prepared for us. I'm just going to go ahead and play it. All right.
Sure.
At Global E-Commerce Experts, our account health check service is a great way to make sure that your European Amazon performance is performing optimally. Our team of highly skilled and experienced account managers will conduct a thorough investigation into your Amazon account and will provide a report of recommendations for you to enhance your performance. There are many aspects that contribute to a successful Amazon listing, and the metrics behind this are constantly evolving. so it is very easy to lose focus and allow performance to slip. The GEE Account Health Check will give you a native expert's opinion on ways to improve your UK EU's platform performance. Our team of account managers have many years' experience in managing Amazon, so they know exactly what makes for a highly successful Amazon campaign, and with our Account Health Check, you get to benefit from their knowledge and experience. The Account Health Check will cover a variety of areas within Seller Central, including current performance, listing optimization, inventory management, advertising strategy, and many more. Once your account health check is complete, one of our experts will be in touch to walk you through the recommendations and answer any questions that you may have. Global e-commerce experts' account health check service is the perfect solution for the ongoing success to your Amazon journey, giving you the tools and knowledge to help improve your Amazon performance.
Yeah, so essentially, the Amazon Account Health Check is a service that we offer to, again, it's just really in aid of supporting client growth and helping clients to find ways of selling more products. Basically, obviously, we know that working on Amazon and working on Seller Central can be tricky. So we've got a team of account managers here that we'll kind of take time to look through your Amazon account, look at different metrics like sales and PPC conversion, and lots of other different things. And essentially what the Amazon Account Health Check service does is it will just kind of give you a rundown of recommendations that we would make, or the team of account managers would make, in order for you to improve your sales in that particular region. So I mean, it's something that we've successfully offered lots of clients. Again, it really helps people to improve sales and make sure that they're getting the most that they can out of their Amazon account. So I think we've agreed that anybody listening can get one of these for free. I think we'll drop a link into the comments, or so that you can kind of sign up, and we can kind of go from there.
Let's do that perfectly. Okay, so just to clarify, if one of our clients, or if somebody watching this video is interested in getting this Amazon Account Health Check for completely free, just a health check from one of your experts, it is possible to contact you or one of the experts at Global E-commerce Experts and get that Amazon Health Count check for free, right? Okay, cool. We'll drop the link in. Exactly, we'll drop the link in the newsletter that we'll be sending out, and we'll be putting the link into all the relevant social media feeds where we will be posting this video also. Cool.
Great. Yes.
Where's it? Okay, let's go. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess we're just going to go on to talk about kind of omni-market channel approach. So this is something that here at GE that we've recognized is really key to success in e-commerce at the moment. I think what we're starting to see is we can see from this chart that Amazon are way and above the biggest marketplace, certainly in Europe, but also across the world as well. And that the second place, eBay, is a fair way behind, is a fair way behind Amazon. So we would never kind of recommend that you use other marketplaces instead of Amazon, but certainly alongside. It helps in so many different ways. Amazon are notoriously quite difficult to kind of work with. The actual support that you get as a seller is not as good as it could be or should be. And I think a lot of these other marketplaces, particularly kind of the bigger ones like eBay and Wish in the UK, for example, they've kind of recognized that, and they're really beginning to offer a fantastic level of seller support, which will eventually, I genuinely believe that eventually these other marketplaces will begin to get more of that market share and become bigger, because more sellers will want to work with these marketplaces. I don't foresee any of them overtaking Amazon in the next kind of 5 years, 5 to 10 years. But I think my personal opinion is that the gap will begin to close, because the bigger brands will start to recognize that, well, hang on a minute, these guys are so easy to work with, and selling on these platforms is really easy, so let's do that. And eventually over the course of time it will become apparent. But yeah, we just that's why we kind of really do encourage a multi-channel approach. Obviously, if you're expanding into the UK from Germany, for example, and you have to send all of your stock into the UK, and you have to get all of that stuff set up, and you put all of your eggs into the Amazon basket, and something goes wrong with your Amazon account, it's going to leave you with zero sales. So again, it just kind of mitigates that risk, helps you to get your brand and your product in front of more people. It's surprising actually how many people don't use Amazon, how many consumers don't use Amazon, and by not using these other marketplaces, you're completely missing out that kind of all of those additional kind of customers. So you increase your customer base, you mitigate your risk, and you begin to learn about other marketplaces and how they work, different deals and etc. So it's a really important thing to do. As you can see, we've just kind of gone through and listed out the bigger kind of marketplaces across Europe. Most of these are going to be familiar to most people, and no surprise, Amazon sat on the top.
Absolutely. Yeah, what I've also heard is I've been talking to a lot of sellers that also sell on, especially I think ball.com is also mentioned here, that sell on ball.com, for example. And what one seller told me specifically is that what he likes a lot about ball.com is that it's very seller friendly. And that's something that where Amazon often comes a little bit short, let's say it like that, because of course, while they are very customer centric, the customer centricity is interwoven into their DNA. I mean, they were customer centric when they were still a little garage somewhere in California, but they still are nowadays. And of course, that comes at a certain cost, and that cost is, from our experience at least, it's quite often carried by, the bill is often footed by the sellers. So I think that's also why a lot of sellers might also want to branch out. Except what you just said as well. It's sometimes it's just easier for the sellers to maybe branch out, and maybe easier to sell their products or to set up shop or to gain more visibility, to make higher margins. And then they say, okay, maybe there is a valid option apart from Amazon, even though Amazon is of course the global leader.
Yes, interestingly as well, and it's something that you guys in Germany will find this difficult to believe, but as we do in the UK. But Amazon is not the biggest marketplace in all of the European regions. So, for example, Netherlands, BOL or bol.com is the biggest one out there. You've got Allegro in Poland, which is bigger than Amazon is in Poland at the moment. We all know that eventually Amazon will become the biggest marketplace in all of those regions, but certainly for now and for the next few years, it kind of creates a big opportunity for brands that are interested in going omni-channel across different regions in Europe. It opens up a cracking opportunity for them to kind of take advantage of the fact that they can sell, make really, really good sales off of Amazon.
Absolutely. What I found weird when I was talking to, I met a lot of people from the Netherlands actually in the past few weeks. Actually, what they said is that Amazon doesn't really fare well in the Netherlands, and that is also one of the main reasons why they don't switch, or why they focus more on ball.com, and also the seller friendliness of ball.com. And I'm guessing Allegro might have the same benefits as well in that case. But I mean, you can't argue with the fact that Amazon is the global leader at this point. So my question to you would be, like, if you look at these numbers, right, 980 million, and after that is eBay on second place, but very far down with 366 million. Does it make sense? To, let's say, switch from Amazon to all these to another platform, or would it maybe make sense, and that's what some of our sellers actually think, to take that time, if you have it, and focus on selling more extensively on Amazon? What are your experiences at GEE with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd certainly be looking at an omni-channel approach. So I wouldn't use these marketplaces instead of Amazon.
Right.
We all know that we all know that Amazon is, it gets the most amount of clicks a day. You're going to get more eyes on your product by being on Amazon. We also know that that it's becoming way more competitive. We can see PPC bids going up, so it's really expensive to run PPC campaigns in comparison to what it was a year or two ago. And it's not necessarily something that I would stop doing with Amazon, but I would definitely be looking to open up new channels for the reasons that we've discussed. It mitigates risk. If Amazon
Yeah,
decide to shut you down, they'll shut you down and then ask questions later. And
absolutely.
we know that it can be really difficult to get an Amazon account back up. But it's the biggest marketplace in most regions across Europe. It's not something we'd never recommend anybody to stop selling on Amazon so that they can start selling on other marketplaces.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we would definitely recommend an omni-channel approach. And when we sort of say that we recommend an omni-channel approach, that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go away and you need to kind of get all of your products on all of these marketplaces as soon as possible. Take a phased approach. These are new marketplaces. Some of them are easier to use than others. But you're still going to need to take time to learn, create the relationships between you and the marketplaces, and make sure that you're kind of building them up in the right way. There's a saying in the UK where if you chuck enough mud at the wall, some will stick. But
It's a very similar saying in Germany as well, now that I think of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like we would prefer to take the approach of, look, if you're going to kind of go into this, let's go into this with a sense of awareness, and do the research and make sure that you're going onto the right marketplace for your product, and really kind of invest some time in making it work on each marketplace. And you kind of build it up. It's going to be incremental business for your brand. And if you set a schedule or a strategy onto as to how you're going to achieve an omni marketplace approach, it's going to work much better, and
Absolutely.
you can really benefit from that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Should we carry on with the next?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah.
So this is just a basic list of the marketplaces that here at GE that we work really close with. eBay, I love how we put eBay above Amazon. So obviously we've always had a good relationship with Amazon, particularly Amazon.com. They refer us a lot of business, which is great. I think eBay is a relatively new partnership that we created sort of earlier this year. But we work really closely with those guys, and they're so easy to work with. Myself and one of the other kind of heads of departments head up to their HQ in London once a month, so that we meet with their team. We kind of work on two different verticals as well. So we look at what business they can kind of give us, so how we can help their sellers to sell in the UK and to kind of expand more sellers onto their platform. But we also look at ways how we can help the sellers that are in our warehouse onto the eBay platform as well. So it's kind of a two-pronged approach for those guys.
That's nice.
And it works really well. OnBuy's well worth a mention. It's a relatively new marketplace to the UK, but it's the fastest growing marketplace in Europe, I believe.
Interesting.
Again, we've got great connections there. A guy, an ex-colleague of mine works for OnBuy, so we've got really good links into those guys. We do lots of work with them. It's similar to eBay. They refer people, they refer business to us. We look to get our clients selling on their platform, so it works really nicely. Again, exactly the same with Wish. Wish came down to our the guys from Wish came down to our facility in the UK a few weeks back, and spent the day looking at the facility, making having a look rounds, checking everything out. Had a bit of lunch on the coast, so it was really nice. Yeah, and I won't go through each one. B&Q, another
Sure,
relatively
yeah.
new marketplace, but yeah, we've got
Mhm.
great relationships with these marketplaces, and what that does is it gives you the additional benefit of just having that kind of internal support, having somebody that you can pick up the phone to when something goes wrong, or
Amazing.
you might have a brand that you're really excited about, pick up the phone to the marketplace and say, hey, look, I've got this brand, what can we do with them? They'll be able to kind of pull lots of data and insight and give you a really good kind of direction of how best to launch them on that
Perfect.
marketplace. So it works really well.
Amazing. Yeah, I also kind of like that you put eBay above Amazon in this particular case, because it is actually, if a lot of our sellers or a lot of our clients are thinking of branching out, of course, the first eBay being the second biggest marketplace, also internationally, but also in Germany. The first idea is,
Yeah.
of course, well, maybe I should try eBay, right? Basically, it's the same thing, or not? So that's the first go-to. And only afterwards, and maybe like people that sell niche stuff, like handcraft, artisan kind of stuff, they would not think of eBay first, but maybe of Etsy or something like that. But that's so I can completely understand why. I don't know if you created the PowerPoint or whoever, why you put eBay on top, because it's the first thing that most Amazon sellers think of first when they want to branch out. And on the other way around, of course, I think that a lot of eBay sellers might also think that their next option might be to branch out on Amazon as well in order to make more revenue through omni-channel. So yeah, cool. Very interesting stuff. And also very interesting that you've got such close ties. I think that is also very, very beneficial for people that are looking for expertise, especially if I mean, as you said, if you guys are visiting eBay HQ every month, of course, that is an indicator for a close relationship, and that you also have inside knowledge that maybe other companies will not be able to provide. So yeah, very exciting stuff. Very cool.
Exactly.
So yeah. Why is it important to have an omni-channel approach? Cool.
Yeah, so we just kind of listed out some pros and cons. As you can see, there are quite a few pros compared to the cons. So we'll start with the pros. A frictionless customer experience. So yeah, I mean, that kind of means that we're not necessarily preventing clients from customers from seeing and purchasing the products. We're going to get the products in front of as many people as we possibly can, and to do that, if you can spread yourself across as many marketplaces as you can, then it's great. And I mean, it's almost like a never-ending solution, because once you kind of hit all the big marketplaces, you can really get down into the kind of niche, more kind of category-based marketplaces, which really kind of channel. So if you, I don't know, just kind of throw one out there, but if there was a specific consumer electronics marketplace that you could go to, that everybody that's on there is interested in consumer electronics, so you should see much higher conversion. So yeah, the amount of people that you can get the product in front of is going to be key. Optimized operational efficiency. I mean, yeah, most of these marketplaces are really easy and straightforward to work on. They work in very similar ways in terms of a kind of operation. So it's quite straightforward to kind of blend the process and make and enable that for all of the different marketplaces. Yeah, you can enhance loyalty. So yeah, again, more people are going to be will see your product, more people will buy your product. Your brand's going to get that kind of enhanced loyalty. You're obviously going to sell more because the product's getting out in front of more people. More engagement, so more people are going to kind of engage with the brands. It's like a kind of you sell more, you get more trust, more people talk about your brand because you're on more marketplaces. More people go searching for your brand, and then all of a sudden it's kind of that nice little kind of e-commerce cycle that kind of happens. And yeah, kind of just backing that up is improved customer acquisition. So more customers are going to see it, more customers are going to engage, more customers are going to want to come back and buy your brand again. Yeah, I mean, the cons, technical requirements. So yeah, I mean, this one's quite interesting. So there's obviously lots of software out there that can kind of help with this, but yeah, I mean, technical requirements. So again, if you're kind of, it depends how you want to do it. It depends if you want to kind of go full leather and go for 10 marketplaces in one hit, then that's a big piece of work, and you're probably going to need some software to support with that. But if we kind of take a phased approach and look at well, let's get eBay up and running first, and then we'll maybe move to Wish, and then we'll maybe move to OnBuy, and we'll get all those kind of running nicely, and then we'll start looking at, you know, if you kind of take that approach, then you can almost build in the need for more software, so you're kind of building it as you go. So expense, well, it's expensive because you will be potentially paying more marketplace fees. However, the majority of these marketplaces are very close to the fees that you pay on Amazon anyway. So, you know, okay, if you're on 10 marketplaces compared to one, then you know you're going to be paying 10 lots of fees and not one lot of fees. But if you've got the potential to 10x your sales at the same time, then that also becomes a little bit, you know, it becomes not the biggest of issues. So and then in terms of communication between teams, so yeah, I mean, this one's quite interesting as well. You know, if you've got the kind of relationships with the marketplaces, by taking on a lot of marketplaces, it could become potentially, you know, like a full-time job, just kind of liaising with those marketplaces, because once you start to sell and once you really kind of get engaged with the marketplace, they really do want to kind of support you, and they really do want to kind of help you grow. So you do end up having a lot of conversations about what's coming up, what's going to happen, what deals you can be part of. You know, can you offer this much discount, and then I can add you into this deal. So it can become quite intense in that way. But again, if it's all manageable, it's all worth doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. What I was also thinking of when you said one of the cons, of course, like higher costs are, of course, a high deterrent for people who want to expand always, especially in a time like this. But I think that a fair amount of research maybe could also maybe help minimize the risk. For example, if you say like, okay, I have a couple of products who most certainly would not work well on I don't know, Etsy.com, for example, for whatever reason, because they just don't fit the particular niche, maybe not drop as much money into Etsy as I would into Amazon and stuff like that, and maybe just do a little bit of research beforehand. My question would be like, of course you guys are knowledgeable about that as well, could they also approach you guys for questions like that? Could you maybe give an assumption like, okay, well, maybe with your portfolio, with your SKUs, what you're selling, it would make the most sense to start off with, let's say, eBay or you know, Baldy, or go, you know, is that something you guys offer?
Absolutely, and there's no kind of one way fits all, you know, and it depends on the budget and how aggressive you want to be in the market. You know, a lot of the brands that we speak to are new to the region and new to the UK, and so they want to take a more kind of a steady approach. So absolutely, we'll look at their product, we'll work out the strategy, and then we'll kind of guide them as to which marketplaces. Okay, I think that your product would fit really well on these 6 marketplaces in the UK. Let's do this one first. We'll run that for a couple of months, get that running, then we'll start this one, then we'll start, you know, and kind of take that approach. There are some brands out there that just want to get that kind of exposure and are happy to kind of invest time and money into getting as much exposure as they possibly can for their brand. And again, you know, that's totally feasible and totally doable as well, and we would be delighted and happy to help devise that strategy as well. You know, we can include the kind of different marketing plans, because all of these different marketplaces have different ways of marketing the product. So, you know, it's all of that kind of stuff that we need to kind of consider as well. And just, you know, but yeah, as you say, research is definitely key.
Then the next question, what are the requirements to run a successful omni-channel, in your opinion?
Yeah, so we put a few bits and bobs down, and we just kind of touched on automation. And yeah, you know, once you're up to running several different marketplaces, it can get tricky. Different logins, different stock piles, you know, stock feeding into. If you've got all of your stock in one warehouse and you're telling 6 different marketplaces that you've got 10 units of this product, and then all of a sudden somebody comes along and buys 5 of them off of one, then, you know, you've still technically you've still got 10 on the other side. There's danger of kind of overselling and stuff like that. There are some tools that you can use that we've been kind of researching, and we've been doing a lot of work with some of these tools that can kind of automate a lot of that. So it'll basically bring all your stock into one place and push all of your stock out into the marketplaces. You can sort your pricing out. You can even have a listing automation tool, which means that it'll extract all of your listing data and push it into the marketplaces at the click of a button. You know, these tools I would suggest are vital once you get to the point of selling across multiple marketplaces and doing it really well. You know, these automation tools can be really useful. Yeah, targeted advertising, again, we just kind of touched on it just a second ago, but all of these marketplaces offer different ways to advertise. So it's not all PPC, like Amazon. eBay, for example, offer a different solution. It's very similar to PPC, except you only pay if the customer buys the product. So you bid for the product. Obviously, the prices are a lot higher, but you bid for the product. You bid for the keyword rather. If a customer comes along and buys your product based off of that search and the sponsored listing, that's when you pay that advertising fee. And you know, OnBuy is completely different again. So you know, OnBuy will ask you to just kind of give a what they call a boost, so you can kind of add a percentage of a boost, and the higher the boost, the more chance you get of your product being seen. So again, you know, making sure that you can that you can understand that kind of targeted advertising on each one is really important.
Yeah.
I mean, as with any as with any marketplace, optimized content's always going to be a key factor. You know, you need to really hone in on what's going to sell your product and how you can get that into image form. You know, we work on the basis that we you know, we really need to understand the product in order to kind of create great content. If the product is higher priced than normal than a lot of the other products in the category, that's okay, but we need to be able to explain why in the content. And you know, we've done a lot of research over the years of working with e-commerce, and we're understanding that humans are becoming more and more lazy when it comes to reading. We don't like to read blocks of text. Everything's got to be in images and you know, small sentences. So
very scrollable, very social media, not social media, is what I heard.
100%. I like that. I like that. So yeah, so the more information you can get in images, the better your product's going to convert, for sure. Yeah, customer engagement's massive. You know, a lot of these well, most of the marketplaces are going to have engagement targets, so you need to have responded to a customer query within a certain period of time. And so yeah, you know, that's really key, really important, making sure that we're eBay in particular. You do tend to get a lot of questions asked on eBay, so it's important to stay on top of those.
Right.
Yeah, inventory management, again, a solid inventory management strategy is huge. You know, stockouts are detrimental, not only because you stop selling in that period, but your product's going to lose rank. You know, your listing's going to stop being so visible. So it's not just about making sure you've got enough stock to see you through the different marketplaces, but it's about understanding your sales patterns and making sure that you're looking 3, 4, 5 months ahead to make sure that, you know, you're going to be getting enough stock in to cover those periods. So yeah, that's something that we focus on quite heavily as well.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe, as you said at the beginning, also a very important topic if you're selling over multiple channels, because I see people struggling with stock management or inventory management just on Amazon alone. I can't imagine if you're trying to do that for multiple channels. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All the more important to get in touch with companies like yours. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's tricky for sure. But you know, once you kind of get up and running and you can start understanding the sales patterns, what you're going to sell, you can start to look at the, you know, the kind of the kind of yearly patterns where you're going to sell, depending on your category, depends on where you're going to sell most of your stock. Like, if you're a toy brand, for example, you're going to be selling the majority of your stock around now.
True, yeah.
And potentially not so much in January. So if you need to understand the category, and you need to understand your sales patterns, and then put those two things together to kind of give you a projection of how much you're going to sell. Like I say, going out of stock is probably one of the worst things that can happen to a product that's selling really well.
Yeah.
And then streamlining fulfillment. So again, a lot of the marketplaces, probably one of the biggest blockers for other marketplaces is that the majority don't offer a fulfillment option like Amazon do. So you'd need to, if you can't offer that yourself, you'd need to be able to find a logistics provider that can send stock directly to a consumer. A lot of the logistic and 3PL providers around would send boxes into other businesses. It can be tricky to get a 3PL that that are set up to send direct to the consumer. So making sure that you've got that nailed is really important. What we wouldn't recommend is trying to kind of do that yourself and book your own shipments, because it's not scalable. And as you start to sell more, it becomes more than a full-time job trying to arrange for that to happen. So yeah, find yourself a really good D2C or direct to consumer 3PL provider. Make sure that speedy delivery can be offered. Make sure that you can hit the kind of delivery metrics that are going to get you that that kind of better optimization and conversion on your listings.
Maybe one question to this slide as an ending. Would you say that the importance of I think it's 6 points, is it by, how do I say, is automation first, targeted advertising second, or are they all equally important? Or would you say like one of these 6 points is the most important of all, in your opinion? Or from your experience, what would you say would be the most important here?
Yeah, I mean, they're certainly not in order.
Okay.
I'd probably go with, and I mean, it depends at what point in the journey you are as well. Making sure that you've got a solid fulfillment option is really key. Because if you start missing delivery deadlines, it can be really detrimental to your kind of seller score, which can then have an adverse effect on your kind of listing and where you kind of sit on the in the algorithm, etc. So that one's really important. And kind of similarly, customer engagement, if you start missing those deadlines to reply to customers, again, the knock-on effect of that can be really quite detrimental. You can start losing a lot of rank. You can start seeing all of your listings start to kind of go backwards.
Okay, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, how to choose the best marketplace for your business. I think we've touched on a few of these earlier on, but just to kind of reiterate it, research in the market's really key. Making sure you understand the category that your product's selling, making sure that you understand the marketplace that you want to sell on, is really kind of key. There's no point in just going into a marketplace blind with no research, because it might be that the category that you're selling isn't a big priority for that marketplace, or it might be that products don't sell that well on that particular marketplace. So it's really key to kind of research and make sure that you know exactly what marketplaces you want to be selling on, and kind of get them into kind of prioritized order. Competitor research is, we recommend that a lot. There are loads of tools out there that can support with competitor research, but you know, running a search on this term that would be closest linked to your product, looking at the top sellers in that from that search term, you know, checking out what they sell, checking out how they do it, checking out how they list the keywords that they use. You can even kind of drill down to see roughly how much they sell, etc. So that's really important, and that would be key to the decision of whether or not you want to sell on that particular marketplace. Yeah, obviously fees are a big one. The fees do tend to change from marketplace to marketplace, but they also change from category to category as well. So you need to make sure that you fully understand what the marketplace fees are. They generally range between 9 and 15% on each marketplace. I mean, hidden costs are becoming less and less. It's usually quite straightforward now, but it is still key to understanding the what category you're going to be selling in and what fees are associated to those categories on each marketplace. Yeah, I mean, I think this part means is can you offer variations? So if you've got a variation, a product that's got variations, so I don't know, a t-shirt in 5 different colors can be added to one listing. Obviously you can do that on Amazon. There are marketplaces that you can't add variations on. So if having your product as a part of a variation is really key to the success of the product, it's worth just checking that out before you kind of go and sign up to a marketplace.
Absolutely.
Yeah, test the market again. That's kind of a little bit like, you know, you'd probably do that in the kind of research phase and looking at the competitors, but just, you know, just make sure that, you know, have a look at what others are offering, how they do it, how quickly they can send the stock out. Is there a gap? Is there anything that you can kind of offer that others can't? And just really try and capitalize on that. Understanding your buyers always a real key one as well, because, you know, if you can get into the mind of the buyer, then you can start to create listings that are going to really appeal to everybody that's kind of, you know, in the market for your products. So yeah, I mean, that you know, most brands would have that understanding as well, but just to kind of reiterate, it's important on other marketplaces. And yep, lastly, just understanding the logistical solutions that the marketplaces offer. Again, like I said, it's quite unusual for a marketplace to offer a fulfillment solution. So you'd need to kind of look into how you can kind of solve that issue, and find yourself a decent 3PL provider. But again, it's worth just doing that kind of research. Some marketplaces do offer logistical solutions, and, you know, we'd always recommend kind of looking at costings and seeing how much that would cost before kind of going into it and yeah, you know, committing to a logistics agreement. But yeah, just making sure that you're fully aware of the costs involved and everything else, whether it's got to be for a 3PL or it can be directly through the marketplace. Understanding the costs, making sure that you can still be profitable running that way.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Now that you say it, because when I saw these points at the beginning, I was thinking like, okay, this is very similar to what I would also suggest to people that are looking for a different marketplace on Amazon as well. Especially, okay, I would also add pricing, but as you just said there, I think there are very many different nuances that people who switch to a completely new channel have to take into account. Okay, yeah, first of all, thanks so much, Anne, for explaining all this to us, and also speaking out of experience. I think this was, for me, I found out very interesting stuff today, and I'm pretty sure our clients will as well. If they want to reach out to you specifically or to your team, how do they do that?
Yeah, so you can see there's a code that you can scan that will take you straight to my LinkedIn. So feel free to do that to connect and just drop me a message there. Or you've got my email address at the bottom there, and .willis@globalecomexperts.com. And yeah, just drop me an email if you need any more information. I'll be happy to help.
Perfect. Was that the last slide, or is it? Is there still something?
That is the last.
That was the last. Okay, cool. Okay, then let me just maybe just repeat what I said earlier on. If any of you people watching this video are interested in a free Amazon account health check, yeah, completely free of charge. you can also reach out to Ant and his team. That's correct, right? And cool.
Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely. We'll put a link in the comments, etc. But yeah,
Nice.
just drop me an email, a message on LinkedIn, however you want to contact me, and I'll be able to put you in touch with the team, and then we'll be able to get that underway pretty quickly.
Cool. Okay, then in that case, Ant, thanks again so much for being here with us today. I always enjoy making videos with you. I think the last video was also just us two, right? Yeah, it was us two as well. Yeah, thank you so much for all the insights and for sharing your experiences with us, and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, Daniel. Thanks for having me.